a little bit of time together this afternoon. I'm Kirk Bauer. I think this is my sixth time speaking in front of this group, or some of you. I'll let you know, I am the Pipelines Campaign Manager for the Virginia chapter of the Sierra Club. And I speak on behalf of our 20,000 members today. I am a retired professional engineer, over 30 years experience in land development, years administering erosion sediment control plans and programs in the state. I've designed hundreds of construction plans in my over 30 years experience. I just have to note one thing, Mr. Chair, that some of the testimony today was totally irrelevant. Jobs and up our time without adding anything valuable to the discussion. I'm not sure why they were allowed to speak in the first place. So in Virginia, gas pipelines are required to have approved annual standards and specs that are consistent with the requirements of the Virginia Stormwater Management Act and associated regulations, sediment control law and associated regulations, and the regulations governing the General Virginia Stormwater Management Program permit for discharge of stormwater from construction activities. Virginia Code states that natural gas pipelines shall annually submit a single set of standards and specifications for approval. How, underline the word how, land disturbing activities shall be conducted. Annual standards and specs only give you a general of a construction project. It does not go into detail at all. The annual standards are copied from the DEQ Erosion Control Handbook. They do not show the details for construction in the field that are shown in an engineer construction plan designed by a professional engineer. The annual standards program was not designed for large diameter pipeline projects. DEQ, in its wisdom, decided to do an ENS plan review, and I am grateful for that. But the process was divorced from the 401 certification, and that's not the way it should be. They are totally interconnected. The concept set out by the state law and the creation of the annual standards program is that entities which are required to submit annual standards essentially become self-regulating. Virginia law places an authority that normally would be delegated to a locality for the review, approval, and enforcement of the ENS and stormwater management plans with the utility company with limited oversight by DEQ. There's very, very few inspection efforts done on these projects for small pipelines, and that's what we're talking about. The annual standards and specs program is for small diameter, large diameter pipelines. DEQ has required ACP to submit project-specific plans, ENS, for review and approval. In response to comments, DEQ acknowledged that review and approval of project-specific stormwater management and ENS control plans is a critical component of assuring protection of water quality. But DEQ claims that the plan review is separate and apart from the scope of the proposed 401 certification. How can that be? That's the crux of the discussion today. You cannot separate the processes. The ENS plan determines what happens out in the field, and that's what's going to involve the water quality issues. You cannot divorce them. Before any land disturbing project activity can occur, DEQ has to review and approve ACP's project-specific plans. This is not considered a unified approach the way it's being done now. Unlike many of the board's programs and permit programs, Virginia law does not provide a right for public notice of and comment on the ENS and stormwater plans for the ACP. I reviewed those plans and stormwater management calculations. Somewhere they're hidden, but I know that they're not right from what I've seen from the MVP calculations. And they did the same thing, I'm pretty sure, on the ACP as they did on the MVP. That means you have to go back, redo the plans, and make sure that the stormwater management BMPs are incorporated into the construction process. Right now, they're because the stormwater plans calculations indicated they didn't need stormwater management, best management practices, but that's not correct. DEQ did request input on technical and engineering requirements to the draft plans. The public is not officially involved in the review process. That's it. We don't know what happens after the input is given. We haven't seen any revised plans. We don't know what's happening. The process is not transparent. Plan reviews normally follow an iterative process. For a project of this size, it would take at least a year. Go to Fairfax County, their website. They have normal times showed on their website in their program that shows you how long it will take for a project to be reviewed. Normally, 6 months to a year. These plans were submitted last June, I believe, so they have not had time to go through the process. And these are huge plans. I mean, hundreds of sheets of plans and specifications. Yet, also, to qualify for coverage under a Nationwide 12 permit, the pipeline developers must comply with numerous general conditions applicable to each nationwide permit, including General Condition 12. This condition requires that appropriate soil and erosion controls be used during construction. So again, here's another permit that is tied to the ENS regulations. It's not just the 401, but also the NWP 12 is tied to the ENS regulations. Okay, and let me go over a couple of the items that were responded to in the comments section. I may have talked to you about some of this last week, but I want to reiterate a couple of things that, in my professional opinion, the plans aren't going to work. Primarily because you have these steep slopes. The devices, the BMPs, were not designed to work on these steep slopes. Also, in my review, one of the things I noticed that was consistent was the BMP devices, silt fence, filter socks. We have criteria, engineering criteria you have to meet. Cannot exceed a certain amount of drainage area or a silt fence. Well, silt fences, the technical criteria was not adhered to. Instead of 1 acre flowing to a silt fence, they had 4 or 5. That was consistent during my review. Because plan review is required and the plans are essential to preserving and protecting water quality, it would be logical and follow reason the 401 certification cannot be approved until it is certain that the construction plans meet the requirements of the Virginia Stormwater Management Program. How can the 401 certificate be approved when there is so much uncertainty about meeting water quality standards? I think I'm going to break from my prepared speech and go over the pictures I just sent you. If you have those in your hands, let me go over them with you. We have people out in the field who observed, and we've been observing pipeline projects for over 3 years now. The first one is a picture of the Columbia gas pipeline in Giles County. From that picture, you can get a view of the construction that would be involved. This is just a 12-inch pipeline. It's not a very big pipeline. It was built up the side of a very steep mountain. The second picture gives you another view of the same pipeline, just to give you some idea of the terrain that we're dealing with here. The third, page 3, in this project, sediment flowing below the silt fence. What happened was, it rained really hard one night. The contractor did not stabilize the site before it rained. He took a risk. He said, it's not going to rain. It can't rain. Well, it did. And here's what happened. Look at the silt fence. It was totally overloaded. It could not handle the sediment coming down into it. And that's what's going to happen on these steep slopes every time it rains. You go to the next picture, you can see sediment flowing down the hillside. I've got more pictures at home I could have brought, but we have one where the sediment reached the stream at the toe of the slopes. The next one is the Stonewall Gathering Pipeline in West Virginia, by what's called the Pipeline Air Force. We have pilots out who are looking at these projects. You can see the mud in the creeks. There is no ENS devices on either side of the road. They tore up the road so bad, it's not passable any longer. You go to the next picture, you can see a picture of the contractor actually dumping sediment into the creek. On this site, we actually found them pumping sediment into wetlands areas outside of the construction area. The West Virginia DEP, we reported them to West Virginia DEP and they were issued a notice of violation. The last picture, page 7, that's again below a pipeline project, the same one, the Stonewall Gathering Pipeline in West Virginia. So, you're aware we filed a challenge, a legal appeal in court last Friday. We will have to do the same with this pipeline if you all decide to approve it. And I ask you not to do that. We really don't want to do that. No, we really don't want to see you in court. We'd rather work this out peacefully. But I hope that you will not listen to some of the industry representatives here today. Here's what's really happening. The only windfall profits that are to be made are by the pipeline developers. FERC guarantees them a rate of profit of 10 to 15%. And that's what this is all about. Dominion, business interests want to make that 15%. It goes to their shareholders, and you need to know the truth. That's why they're pushing this so hard. If we were here talking about a return of 3 or 4%, we probably wouldn't be here today talking at all, because the incentive's not there for a low profit return. But for 10 or 15%, they're willing to take the risk no matter what. So why should we, the people of Central Virginia, Southwest Virginia, sacrifice our lands, our environment, so that people in Norfolk and Hampton Roads can benefit? It's of no benefit to us at all. Jobs, I'll address that quickly. 18 months of jobs, that's it. The Virginia Solar Institute says we can create 50,000 jobs by solar energy over the next 20 years. Last, the other reason we're fighting this so hard is because of the greenhouse gas emissions. The ACP emits at least 42 million tons per year. Then you add on the MVP adds another 56 million tons per year. That's a total of 95 million tons per year. In the state right now, we have 49 million tons. So we're actually, pipelines generate double the current emissions. So I would urge you to deny this pipeline with prejudice. Thank you.